I refused to let my husband hold our newborn for 2 days, and my whole family decided I was a monster. When my son was born, I asked the nurse to take him to the nursery before my husband could hold him. "What are you doing?" my husband said, reaching out. But the nurse was already carrying our baby into the hall, following the note I'd placed in the hospital file months earlier. "The father is not to have unsupervised contact until I give the word." "Stop her," my husband said to the room. "That's my son." I told the nurse to keep the baby in the nursery, and not to let my husband near him alone until I said so. She looked at me like I'd lost my mind. "Ma'am, I can't just—" I told her to check the file I'd submitted 6 months ago. Then I lay back against the pillows, exhausted from the delivery, and closed my eyes. My husband stared at me, stricken. "What is wrong with you?" "Just give me a couple of days," I said. "A couple of days?" he repeated, voice rising. "You just gave birth and you're keeping me from my own child." His mother arrived within the hour. I could hear her down the corridor before she reached the door. "Where is my grandson? What has she done?" She burst in and pointed a shaking finger at me. "I always knew there was something off about you. I told my son not to marry you. I said I wasn't doing anything wrong and asked her to please stay calm. My son is out there in tears because you won't let him hold his own baby," she snapped. "I'm calling every lawyer in this city." His father came later and didn't yell. He just stood in the doorway with cold contempt. "I don't know what kind of control game this is," he said quietly, "but it ends today." My husband's brother swung the door open that afternoon, looking ready to come at me until security stepped between us. "You're sick," he shouted from the hall as they walked him out. The charge nurse warned me they were considering removing me from the ward over the disruption. My husband sat in the chair by the window, red-eyed, turning to me every few minutes. "Why are you doing this to me? I'm your husband. What did I do?" I couldn't answer because I couldn't say it out loud yet. The psychiatrist came on day 2, the evaluation I'd requested the moment we learned I was pregnant again. She sat with my husband for an hour while I waited in the hall. When she came out, she pulled me into a private room. "I need you to tell me exactly what happened with your first child," she said. I told her my husband didn't remember most of it. He'd been in a bad way then and had gotten help since. She said she still needed to hear it from me. I took a breath. 2 years ago, during a stretch when he was drinking heavily and his mind was coming apart, I'd come home to find him gone with our infant daughter and no note. Confused and not himself, he'd wandered off with her in the middle of the night and left her somewhere he couldn't even recall afterward. I won't put the rest into words. She was found safe, thank God, by a stranger who called for help. He had no memory of any of it. He got sober. He got treatment. He spent 2 years becoming someone I could trust again, but I couldn't hand him a newborn on faith alone. I needed a professional to look him in the eye first and tell me he was well. The psychiatrist studied her notes for a long moment. "Your husband's evaluation is reassuring," she finally said. "He's stable. He's done the work. There's no sign of what you're afraid of, but you were right to have him assessed before contact. Given the history, no one should fault you for that." I felt the tears come. "You can bring your son to both of you now," she said. When my husband finally held our boy, he wept. Not the frightened crying from before, but something that cracked him open. "You were protecting him," he whispered. "From the person I used to be. I understand. I'd have done the same. His family still thinks I'm a monster. His mother hasn't spoken to me since. His brother tells people I held a newborn hostage. I've never told them the truth. It isn't mine to tell. It's my husband's, and he isn't ready. So I let them believe what they want. My husband knows, though, and every night when he checks on our son before bed, he stops in my doorway on the way back and just says, 'Thank you for making me prove it.' I'd do those 2 terrible days over 100 times. Being hated by everyone was a small price for the certainty that the man holding my baby was safe. Some walls you put up aren't cruelty. Sometimes they're the deepest love you're capable of."